Hello, everyone. Matthew here with BTC Daily Reflections. Just checking in. I'm sorry about last night. I was not able to get a video in. Lots of stuff going on, work stuff. Is it going to snow? Is it not going to snow? Am I going to have to work? Am I not going to have to work? As you can see, I'm in my van real quick here trying to squeeze something in, kind of like a bit of a homeless shelter thing going on here. But currently it's 12:38 p.m. Central Time. And Bitcoin's looking at about 67,346. Like we've been mentioning for a little while over and over again, but, we're in this bit of a descending channel, since March 16th, roughly, and it's been downside for a while. But anyways, we've been in this channel for quite a while. And that's okay, though. That's what we're looking for. Like I said, for me personally, we're hoping that it goes lower so we can do some purchasing. And then, a big part would be if we get around, 64,000, because that would kind of let us know that it's, going to continue down, and obviously down from 67. But we got to get to that point to let us know it's not just going to bounce right back up right away. We got all these little bull trap scenarios and stuff that happens, but it's the weekend here. Chances are it's probably going to be some sideways action, sideways motion, electric slide a little bit, right? But anyways, I just want to quickly say too, everyone, please like, subscribe, notifications, whatever. I know there's all kinds of stuff out there, all kinds of things, but this is just a real guy, doing real purchases of Bitcoin, nothing crazy, no $200,000 here and there thrown at the market, so just letting people know that you can do a little bit, little by little, start stacking, and then of course hodl, all that fun stuff, right? And then we'll see long-term progress. So that's what we're hoping for, especially with how Bitcoin matures and stuff like that. Let's just see what happens. And these cycles, the 4-year cycles and stuff are probably getting a little bit shorter, which is great. Again, that's showing signs of maturity, things like that, and there's a lot of people too that, talking about XRP and things like that. And I know I made a quick little short tease in it real quick, but, some of these shit coins you can get into, but the real progress and asset is, Bitcoin. And it's because it's the true, there's only ever going to be, 21,000. We know that it's truly finite. And even when you start talking about XRPs and stuff like this, up and down, you get that little bit of ripple effect, like I said, and then you find out that it's just truly, Bitcoin's the true finite asset. So let's, we can focus on that. And that's what I've been doing, especially you start watching some of these videos, badass Michael Saylor, he'll sell anyone, right? But it gets you thinking, and you hear these little things that hang on to you. They're things you pick up, just like in a meeting, when people start talking about things in a recovery meeting, you kind of just pick up little things from people here and there. But, when I've heard Saylor call it in some of his old videos, digital real estate, that's what got me thinking and, putting it together in my head like, hey, this is something that's the real deal, right? Not just the smaller purchases I made when it was cheaper. And, I laugh, and I've said this already, but, how many of us wish we could go back and buy when it was $16,000 all over again, right? And I have a full kern right now, man. Things like that. But anyways, you can't change that past. The only thing you can do is just kind of focus on now and then the future. And that's all right. But if you think too much about the future, you can stress yourself out too. And that's where the recovery process comes into play a little bit, is you just know that it's going to be all right, and things work and move in mysterious ways. You get volatility and things like that, but that's all right. We can just work on stuff. And then, for gold too, there was some stuff out there I saw not that long ago with gold where they were talking about, they're thinking possibly there's currently 190,000 tons up to 220,000 tons that have been mined or whatever. But how do they really know that? You know what I'm saying? Because you really don't truly know, or what's being held somewhere or what's lost. But, with Bitcoin, we know that there's only ever going to be 21,000, and right now there's not that, of course, but we're getting there. And with the halvings and everything, it's all documented, and then gold stuff too, to a standard, I know it is as well. But again, we just don't know. It's not a true finite asset. There's limited supplies of it, but we can dig more and more. We can find more. We can blow up another mountain. You're right to use that term, or find more in the ocean. Even freaking meteorites and comets, shit like that. It's coming out of this, comets, ice, you know what I'm saying? But you can get stuff coming from wherever. You really don't know how much gold is out there and how much is left. So things like that. Bitcoin's going to be the better long term. It's fine. And when in doubt, zoom out, right? You hear that over and over again. But when you look at the Bitcoin chart, if you start getting freaked out, zoom out and look at the long-term progress, man, and look where it's been and where it is now. And then you'll feel a lot better, right? That's okay. So that's cool. We just know that's fine. And again, I just want to talk about 319 to go back to recovery. I know I bounce around here, but I put a link in my posts for the true spot to get the 319 Zoom app. The meeting, it's on Zoom. It's a Zoom meeting, but it's 319aa.org group. Yes, because I was just saying before it was 319.org. I fucked it up. But anyhow, it's in my link. It's, if you go to my post, it's the true thing, or you can still Google search it and just for 319 Zoom meeting, I think it'll come up. But it's good to know, and we want to know that people can get safe and recover out there. We have these meetings where you need a meeting at 2 a.m. or like me, snow plowing, I'll bring that up, driving in a truck. Well, guess what, man? I can hit my Zoom meeting, and then I know that I have a meeting in my hand. It's a true meeting in the pocket, and I love that term because it lets people know we do have a true meeting in the pocket. And share with anyone, spread the word. I've had doctors, honestly, just bringing it up in general discussions when I'm getting physicals or whatever. My wife even too, where doctors were fascinated by the fact that the app was out there, the 319 meeting was out there, because it really can help people in recovery. It's nice to listen to. And even with like my wife, she likes listening to it too, because you can shut your camera off. There's nothing to worry about. No one can hear until you raise your hand, and then they send you a notification to unmute your mic. You can't hit the unmute button by accident. You can hit your camera, but you can also shut your camera off, so then you know that no one can see nothing, things like that. So it's good, it just makes you feel comfortable. And then it's a great way to get your feet wet in meetings. It really is, because you don't have to be sweating it out or freaking out about walking through the doors for the first time. You just got the virtual door, right? It's not a big deal. You can do it. Everyone can do it. So just know that. But anyways, let's go Bitcoin, baby. And I'll do another video. Probably not tonight. I got some stuff going on. And after this, got to get home and be with the family. The weather should be done. It's snowing a little bit in the background, as you can probably see through my van windows here, but I should not have to go in, so I don't have to worry about that. I might do another short later, but for sure tomorrow. So we'll probably look at tomorrow. And again, you guys just remember, it's more than likely going to be sideways action with Bitcoin on the weekend. But again, when you start looking at these things long term and you start freaking out, when in doubt, zoom out, right? And do some research. Look at your own hardware, cold wallets. Look at crypto exchanges, things that you might want to be looking into. Chances are you already know those things if you're here, because again, right now, people interested in Bitcoin and Bitcoin videos are probably people already in it for the long haul. But again, we can all do this, man. You can be just a normal guy, normal gal buying Bitcoin, right? And holding on and just see what happens. So that's where we go, and that's where we are. Please trade at your own risk, everything like that. These are just my opinions. And you guys rock the day, right? And keep moving forward. We're on that path, baby. See you guys tomorrow. Thank you.